Okay, back on here again to tell you guys about an incident that came up yesterday. I had a new client yesterday that came in to see me. Young guy, he was referred to me by his mother. He was about 19, 20, and he just felt that he was caving in too much, which he probably, no, he was caving in too much because of the way he sits, hunched over all day on a computer, okay, and hanging his head down. So I started explaining to him what was going on and what's causing it. And I just like to go over a lot of things with people before I start and kind of educate them. I always educate people on everything that I do, and so they can know what to do afterwards when they leave. So he gets on the table and I work on his back. And his back and hips were tight. And I worked on his neck because he was hunched in so bad, he noticed that he was getting a hump, okay, a hump. That's when your shoulders are pulling in and you get this hump on the back of your neck where the neck and the shoulders meet. It's called a dowager's hump. A dowager's hump, because the muscles pulling so tight, it creates a lump, okay? And it sits right on the back of your neck. A lot of people have it and they're not even aware of it. And it comes from hanging your neck down and hunching over at computers all day long. And it's very painful. It can be very painful. Okay, that means your shoulder too rounded. You're caving in. You're pulling in, and when that happens, your shoulders have to be relieved, and that's where I come in. And that hump is awful. It looks bad. It feels bad, especially on women. That hump looks very bad. Okay, and that's because of your rounded shoulders. Now, so again, he went on the table. I worked on his back, and I worked on his shoulders. I worked on his arms because I'm trying to get his arms to go back so he can stand up straight. And then I said to him, you know what, I'm going to do your stomach, because I always do the stomach. And a lot of therapists don't do the stomach. You would not believe what happened when I got to his stomach. Because he sat down so much, so long, all day, and in this crouched position, his stomach literally fell into his groin. You know what I said? His stomach fell into his groin. So guess what I had to do? I had to go in the lower abs and literally dig out his stomach and pull it up. And I had to keep going and pulling up and scooping and pulling up. He was sweating. He was in so much discomfort. I had to keep stopping. I could not believe the amount of all his belly dropped into his lap. Now, okay, so guess what? When you see people with their belly into their lap, it's because they're sitting crouched all the time. And your belly has sunken down. So everything has dropped down. Okay? It's crazy. I had to literally go into his low abs and keep pulling and massage it and pulling up and pushing up and pushing up and pushing and stretching the tissue, the muscle. And a lot of times people think that it's fat. Well, guess what? It's not always fat. We've been taught to equate everything to fat. It's not fat. A lot of times we're swollen because the muscle gets tight. And please remember this, tight muscles swell. Like when you go to the gym, you pump a lot of weight and the guys get big because tight muscles swell, and that's what causes pain. Okay, so I literally had to go in and scoop out his stomach. Now, by scooping this out, I'm releasing his body. So guess what? It's like he's going back up now. Why? Because I'm releasing the muscle down here in his low ab that's holding him crouched like this. Okay? It's holding you. It's got you pinned down in your groin and in your lower abs. Okay, so that's why you can't stand up straight. It looks like you're shrinking, but you're really not. And it's because your stomach has gotten tight down below, and it's like in your lap. And there's no way to do it to stand up straight, because guess what? I have to release the muscle from there. So your muscle is holding you so tight that it keeps you locked in. And that's why you see people hunched over when they're older like this. Why? Because they sit like this. Whatever you do, you become. So you sit like this, you're gonna be like this. You're teaching your body to be in this position. Okay? So it was so funny. I had to come on here and tell you guys because he was just wiggling the whole time. I had to stop. I had to give him water because it was so uncomfortable. I have to use different things like magnesium to relax the muscle, all kind of creams, and just to help alleviate some of the pressure that I was putting. And trust me, I wasn't putting a lot of pressure, but I had to literally go in here and relax and push and stretch and dig his stomach out from his groin area so he could go back up now and he could stand up straighter. He was amazed by the time I was done. And that was only one session. He was totally amazed. He felt so good. Shoulders went back. He could head up. He could stand up straight instead of being like this. The hump that he had back here was literally gone. So when you're hunched over and you're pulling in like this, everything has to hurt because your body's not meant to be like this. You're sitting crouched, and like you said, your ab holds you. Everything's holding you. Your shoulders are locked like this. So I have to go in here, release the shoulders to go back, pull the stomach up to go back up, and now you can stand up straight, and it feels better. Okay? So please keep in mind, when you're sitting like this all the time, you're locking your body in a bad position. You're really locking your body. And how you're locking your body? The muscles. Because once those muscles get trained to where they are all the time, they will stay that way unless they're released by a professional like me. Muscle has memory. It always wants to go back to that comfortable position that you created. And you create these things unknowingly. And he was just so happy. So again, when you sit like this, you become like this. Okay? And physical therapy can't help you to straighten up because it's a muscular issue. The muscles have to be released. It's in the shoulders. Most of the time, I have to go in these areas and release it. Under the arms. Why? Because we reach all the time. Everything is forward, right? So when I release it, everything goes back. Shoulders are supposed to be back. Stand up tall, head up, and it feels better. Not like this. Okay? Shoulders back, head up, and it feels better. Now you're standing up straight. Your spine is stretched out instead of being compressed. And everything pulling and caving in. Your back has to hurt. It has to. It's impossible for it not to hurt because you're like this. You're not meant to be like this. And you keep going in and going in and going in. Well, guess what? I have to release you. Okay? I have to release you. And until you're released, it's not going to get any better. Now, when you're released, okay, back pain goes away. Everything has to go away because guess what? You're standing up straight now instead of like this. Okay? So I had to hop on here and tell you about how bad it was with this guy. I could not believe how bad it was. He's coming back for another session, and we're going to see it should be easier. I gave him some exercise to do at home, some stretching to keep that area open. So we'll see how he is when he comes back. But again, you cannot sit in these positions all the time and hang your head down. Your head is a big ball sitting on your spine. So every time you hang your neck down, you put the strain. This big old ball keeps straining that spine. And after a while, it stays like that. So you're training your body to be in a position that's very uncomfortable, it hurts, and you're going to be miserable, and you're not going to know what to do about it. And you're going to go to physical therapy, you're going to go to doctors, and all these things will not help. Why? Because it's a muscular issue that has to be relieved by a professional that knows what they're doing, like me. Okay? So stop sitting in these positions all day. Do some stretches. Open up your chest. Move your body around, and you'll be better. But if you crouch all day and hang your head down, trust me, you're going to be just like him. Your stomach's going to fall. Everything's going to fall into your lap. Your chest goes down. Everything goes down because you're pulling it. It's being pulled down. And you're training your muscles to be this way. All right? Have a great day. Hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.